Allen, Counselor Driscoll. I'm not sure if, let's see, who else is here? Counselor Paniagua. So, Commissioner, you have a lot of eagerly anticipated letters and legislation here. Are you able to go through them at all, or you want me to do it?
Okay. If you want to, I have them on my lap right now in my car that I'm going to fumble through them. It's up to you. I can do it either way. A lot of these are
you driving
annual
your
letters.
car now or what?
No. I'm sitting in my vehicle. It's not moving. It's parked.
In your vehicle. Okay. I'm just a little worried about you, Commissioner. I know it's how busy it gets at the Parks Department.
No, I'm parked.
The first one, the first letter I have is prepare legislation for to accept a donation of $1,000 from Dave Kirby.
So we have custom made benches. So normally we would take a donation like this and then deposit it into an account that we would spend it from. He is donating for us to install one of our custom made benches that are mosaic style to be placed in city space.
Okay. Whereabouts? What city space?
He actually wants it in adjacent to Berry Park, so we're going to work with the county to put it there.
Oh, okay, good. Any questions from my colleagues on the council about this? Okay, tell Dave to keep it coming, okay?
Okay.
Next, this is fitness, dance, arts, and golf programs.
So yes, you're going to have a number of these items that we're getting ourselves ready basically for July 1 and after. So the fitness instruction is just allowing us to have agreements with our line dancing, our ballroom dancing, our fitness, our Fight for Hearts, basically so that we can offer all of that programming with our senior centers, community centers, and in the parks starting July 1.
Okay, these are all people we've dealt with before?
Yes, yeah, and it could be a new instructor, but for the most part, yes, it's instructors we've had and used before.
And do we do an RFP for any of these things?
No, these are just people, it might just be a yoga instructor who, we're not paying them large sums of money, but this letter saves us from having to come to you 40 different times for 40 different instructors that we might only pay $100 to.
So the amount's low enough, but we just lump it all together in the letter as far as the legislation goes. So,
correct.
Okay. Any questions from my colleagues? Okay, you're rolling along here, Commissioner.
All right.
Next.
What do you have?
Next is our agreement with the food bank of Central New York.
Okay, so this is just to sign the agreement to make it, on contract. This is the free summer meals that we provide and school time meals that we provide to the youth and the community programs.
Okay.
No fee for this. Sorry.
Okay, that's good. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to ask for permission to send those last three to the agenda. Any objections from my colleagues? Everybody's okay with that? Counselor Driscoll, Counselor Allen, Counselor Paniagua?
Yep, all good.
Okay. Number 4
is... Take care. Be well.
Okay, number 4 is that's our BMI to pay the copyright fee for the music at the various facilities.
Correct. We have to get 3 different licenses from 3 different agencies that let us play licensed music. So this is BMI. So
okay, great. Yep. Okay, and then we have Mr. Melfi to another letter for a sports clinic, track and field. He's worked with us before.
Yes, so that's a program we're offering this summer. So that's just permission for us to officially offer that program and to pay him for his services.
Any questions from my colleagues on this? Hearing none, I'll go forward again. We'll go to legislation for the Syracuse orthopedist specialist, SOS, who have once operated on me, actually twice operated on me. And just a little point there. And this is for track and field. So they're like certified athletic trainers.
Yes. So this is a trainer to be present on site in case of any injuries for all of those sports camps that we will be holding this summer.
Well, they do good work. At least with me, they did. So.
What field are they going to be at, Julie?
I'm sorry, what building are they going to be at?
Are they going to be at a field or a park?
So in the letter, which I don't know if it was afforded to you, so we have 7 different sports camps listed. They go to the location of that sports camp. So for instance, we have track and field taking place at Corcoran. Soccer is taking place at Nottingham. So they go to where the specific sports camp is held.
Okay.
To my fellow counselors, there was a change in procedural things as far as getting the letters to us for all the different committees. Instead of coming from Jessica, they came from Brian. It sort of threw me a curveball this morning too. Brian Driscoll. So if you look at his, mine ended up actually in my junk file, but I found it after getting guidance, which I always need. So are you okay with that, Counselor Allen?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just didn't see it, so I just wasn't sure which location.
Yeah,
But
you're,
yeah.
Counselor Carney had the same issues at the
Okay.
Finance Committee too. So, okay, let's go on once more to, this is legislation for the Central New York Tennis Association and provide 3-year, 1-week youth tennis clinics at Meacham, Berry, and Sunnycrest at varying times. I don't have any questions on this. Does anybody else have any questions on this particular one? Counselor Driscoll, Counselor Paniagua, Counselor Allen?
No questions. I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay, so we'll go right to the end here. Please prepare legislation to allow, this is for Mr. Probst to perform at the Rose Day at Thornton Park. It's a $300.
Yes, so that Rose Day is the annual celebration in June. Yes, he's going to perform music to the liking of the attendees at that event for $300.
Okay. Any questions of that? Any musical requests? Anybody wants to entertain for that particular concert? Okay. Hearing none.
Olare.
What, okay, next is, this is for our annual performances at Onondaga Park, $4,500 for the Pops in the Park Music Series.
Yes. So again, in the past, we used to come for an individual for, 4 different contracts or 4 different authorizations. So again, this is just for us to book all 4 performances.
Okay. Actually, Counselor Hogan, I'm talking to the third person now, actually coined that name, Pops in the Park, because I was clever in those days. So here we go next. Please prepare legislation for Swank Motion Pictures various movie licensing fee. And this is about those movies we're going to be shown in the parks, right, Commissioner?
Correct. So we have the equipment, but for every movie that we show, we have to purchase a license. So this will cover us for the variety that we have planned this summer.
Okay. Any questions for my colleagues?
Is that going to be moving around, Julie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be.
Have you guys already came up with a schedule for the different parks and times?
We do. I saw Brittany was on here. Brittany, do you have that handy?
No, I don't, and I should have.
We will email it to this committee.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're eager to find out when those where those performances will be. The next one's for authorized payment to Edward Cole for Rhythm and Shoes to perform at Magnorelli and Cecil Senior Centers.
So that's to cover the entire fiscal year. That our senior center is that's the performer they prefer for all of their celebrations. So that's the band.
Okay. Any questions for my colleagues on that?
No.
Okay, and the next is this is a court improvements at various parks. This will be for our multi-use capable courts. So this will be for basketball and tennis. $100,000 for it's out of our capital fund.
Yes. So yeah, so we resurface. We may do some crack filling, but it's really repainting those courts. Maybe adding pickleball lines if it's a tennis court. But yeah, we will pick the ones most in need and hit those first.
And then
How many
companion. Go on, Counselor.
How many courts you guys think you'll be able to do with the 100,000?
So if it's just a painting job, meaning it's already in decent condition, that could cost around $20,000. If it's a court that has to have a lot of cracks filled in, obviously the price go up. So I will optimistically try to say we'll get 3 at least done with that money.
So sorry, Julie, you said you'd be doing pickleball on basketball courts or on tennis courts?
Tennis. Well, no, so that's,
Okay.
it was just an example. So, if we do basketball courts, we'd repaint them with, the 3-point line or free throw line. But if we do a tennis court, it's adding pickleball lines as well.
Do you know which tennis courts in particular are planning to have pickleball added? Because I've had a lot of outreach from my.
So I will say that
I believe.
I will just say that any single time now that we resurface a tennis court, we're going to automatically put pickleball lines. As far as which courts we're going to be doing this year, I will have Brian Massey. I'll work with him when I get back into town, and we'll get the prioritized list to you guys, which courts need it the worst or most, I should say.
Okay. Thank you. If you guys, when you guys know which courts it would be, if you could provide me an update, that would be much appreciated.
That's great. And Brian's on the call right now, so hopefully he'll write it out so we could get work on that when I get back.
Yeah, we
Right,
have a
thank
few,
you.
if I may add, we have a few that are on the hit list, but I just want to run them past the commissioner just to double check. With Ormond Spencer, I know that's a top priority. And then just to also add, we have the Bayheim grant that'll be coming through for Westmoreland as well for surfacing. But those are just 2 on the list, so more to come.
Okay, and rolling along here, I think we're almost at the end here. We got the waiver of competitive bidding for services for pet cremation.
So that's the post-life services that we have to provide when an animal no longer lives. It is picked up by this provider to be cremated.
We go from life to post-life.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. And then we go to any questions from anybody? Any colleagues? Now we, let me think here. That was okay, that was a waiver of competitive bid. Waiver of competitive bid for the herbaceous plant seeds and bulbs too.
So this is an annual one again, and same thing if you have the next one for playground parts. We asked to do it this way because we can't necessarily predict if we just need a certain plant, a certain seed, a certain bulb. This lets us go to a variety of vendors based on just that one.
Okay. Any
Same
questions?
thing with the plate. Oh, sorry.
That's okay, Commissioner. I know you're
Same
in
thing
the
with
car.
no, it's okay. So same thing. Your next letter is probably the waiver of competitive bid for playground replacement parts. We have to buy parts based on where the original playground was from. So this is an annual item for us to just go specifically to each specific playground manufacturer.
Yes, you are absolutely right. That is the next one. Waiver of competitive bid for playground replacement parts. It's Landscape Structures, Park Tex, Game Time, Miracle, Play World, and Columbia Cascade. Not to exceed $12,000. Any questions from any counselors? Okay, Commissioner. Next is the request for legislation for, oh, that was it. Okay, that was someone, we got these doubled here. Waiver of competitive bid request for bulk food items and miscellaneous paper products. So this is to back up our youth centers and senior centers and dog patrol.
Is this for Wegmans? Which one is it? I'm sorry, which?
It doesn't specifically say.
Is this the bulk? You said the bulk food items, miscellaneous.
Bulk,
okay.
Bulk, yeah.
Okay, so that's for
bulk food items.
All right, so that's $7,000 for Wegmans. That's for items such as Rose Day, or if we have a ribbon cutting, or if we, for instance, of the senior center, if they're having an Easter luncheon and we need to get plates. So it's easy for us to just go to Wegmans, pick up the perishables or whatever it may be.
Okay. Any questions from my colleagues, counselors? Okay.
Is that just a standard, like contractor, just like a agreement or something that we have with Wegmans just in general, or do you do it with other grocery stores?
So when Tops was around, we tried to do it with Tops. Most of them do work off of any kind of PO. Walmart was voted down a few years ago, so Wegmans is the only one that we have been able to work with.
Do we have a Parks credit card there, Commissioner?
We have, for this we have a Wegmans. It's not necessarily a credit card. It is a
It's a
Wegmans
charge
card,
card?
but yes.
Okay. Good idea. Okay, next is the National Center for Safety Initiatives. Providing full service background screening for all our prospective employees and volunteers, and the cost is not to exceed $5,000.
Yes. So for obvious reasons,
We've
we
done
want to
this for a
screen.
while.
Yes, these are all of our annual letters.
Any questions for my colleagues? I think that is it, Commissioner.
Did you, I also submitted a capital one for paving and sidewalks. Did that one come through?
I don't see it.
If I submit that, I'll have to check my sent box later, but I sent it at the same time as the court improvements letter. So if it's okay for me to still submit it, or I can get it next round, but basically allocating, I think is 100,000 again, but for sidewalk improvements and parking lot improvements in the parks.
Okay, let's get it in.
I think it's in here.
It is?
Okay.
Where is it, Jimmy?
Is
Hold
it
on a
right by
second.
the other?
Yeah, it was right after the other one that was very similar to it. I thought we missed
So
it.
it's probably near the top. At the beginning of the list.
I see capital court improvements, but I don't see, maybe I didn't get that.
I will, once I'm out of a car, I will double check. But if you guys are okay with that one, or if we can discuss it now, I'll just double check that the letter is somewhere.
Counselor, it's
Anybody-
letter number 14, Counselor Hogan, and you all got it this morning.
Okay.
Huh. Well, I don't know if I did or
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. There also should have been another one for 300,000 for historical stone. There should have been three
Yes,
capital items.
They're both in there. There's 2 for 100 and 1 for 300. Pat, they all came at the same time, so you do have it.
I don't see it though. That's okay.
I can go over it right now,
it's
though.
okay. It's probably verbally,
Well, no,
verbal's
but I
okay
can
with
just.
me.
Okay, but I'll just explain to you. So there's 100,000 for sidewalk and paving, and again, we will prioritize the sidewalks and the parking lots that are in the worst shape and improve them. And the 300,000 that we'd like to allocate is for our historical stones, steps. We'd like to address the stone wall failure at Edge Hill, and if we need extra for the Westminster steps, and any other. But our parks are filled with the historical stones, and they definitely need to be addressed soon.
Any questions for my colleagues about that?
Yeah, Councilor Hogan, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a few, Councilor.
Sure.
So Julie, is this 300,000? Do we think this is going to cover the bulk of the repairs needed at Edge Hill?
Oh, I hope it covers. I hope we have excess money from after we fix Edge Hill.
And do we have? I thought I remember hearing some conversation. Do we have the kind of contracts or staff available to do this kind of skilled masonry? Are we all set with that? And how is that operation going with having staff to do this work?
We do not have. Well, number one is we don't have the equipment to get up on that hill. So even if we had, we don't have the skill set in our staff because we don't want them moving rocks that if they move a rock, then we could have a total failure of the wall. So we will be hiring professionals for this, but so step one is allocating these funds, but we've already been working with Steve Harris, who did recommend a contractor who's already working with the city. I think it's J&J, and Brian, I think if you want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's J&J who has accessed work like this actually at Elmwood Park. So once you guys authorize these funds, we'll contact them to see what kind of quote we can get to fix Edge Hill.
Great. And do we think this are we hopeful that this will be done by the end of the summer?
If you guys approve this, we'll get to work on it right away. So yes, I'm going to say optimistically, yes. I mean, depending on their schedule, it really would depend on their schedule, but on our end, I'm going to try to make this a priority job.
Right. Well, I would just like to say then for all my fellow councilors, encourage their support of this. We had a bad wall collapse in my district in a otherwise very nice park, and we could really use this support. So I just advocate for it, as it's also a public pathway that people use to get around the neighborhood. So it's a public safety hazard as well. So both for the health of the park, but also for public safety, I'd encourage everyone to support this funding. Thank you.
And Councilor Driscoll, just so you know, I did send this message to Jamie, who does a lot of the work in that area. So he's aware that while it looks like the city hasn't done anything, that the Parks Department is trying to prioritize it. So we've got that message to him and he was pleased.
Great,
Commissioner,
thank
would
you.
you have the flexibility and to address more issues like that in the parks if the mayor decides to give you more money or the council does from the American Rescue
Sure.
Plan?
Of
You do,
course.
it's all
No.
set to go, it's shovel
Well,
ready
no,
and all that?
Well, no, okay, so no, a lot of things are not shovel ready because I have to get quotes or sometimes I have to get a detailed plan or do an assessment, and assessments cost money out of the operating. And I don't want to spend money out of operating for a project that I don't even know if I have funding for, because otherwise it's potentially taking away money from another project. So with this 300,000, I don't think Edge Hill is going to cost 300,000. So we could start to get to working on the next set of steps that we want to address.
Commissioner, I realize the logistical challenges there. I am just saying that basically if the monies are become available, would be able to put it into a process post planning for it? Is there you already have identified the areas that need it, correct? You just would have to go
Yes.
through the process in order to implement it if you got the money. So
Yes,
that's
we
what I
have a
was trying to
number
get
of,
at.
okay, I apologize. We have
No,
a
you don't have to
number,
apologize. You're the
oh,
one in the
we've-
car.
we're trying to prioritize a lot of things based on their category, priority of the condition of the pools, priority of the conditions of the stone steps. So we're trying to do a lot of these things.
Excellent. It really is. So what I'm going to do, counselors on the Parks and Recreation Committee, I am going to do what we do sometimes at the IDA I'm on. We're going to bundle these all together, and I want to everybody who approves, please say yes.
Yes.
Come on, let's hear it. Yes, everybody?
Yes.
Anybody opposed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, no
Okay,
opposed.
Okay, no opposed. Okay, so we're all set to go on to the agenda. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for your work and putting this
Thank
all
you.
together. I know it's been a real difficult time for the Parks Department over the last year, but this will be great. This gives a lot of hope to a lot of people in our community. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for your support.
Move to adjourn. Counselor Allen, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, folks. Keep
Thank
dry.
you.
All right.
Brittany, could you give me a call when you get a chance?
What's your number?